Well, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a lovely Christmas holiday. Now we're back into the brace. Just a couple of things. I've got some housekeeping. So welcome to this meeting of Gravesham Borough Council's Community and Leisure Cabinet meeting. I intend to go through some housekeeping matters. This meeting is being live streamed via YouTube and recorded. The recording will be uploaded to YouTube within 2 working days, where it can be accessed by everyone. Members, please use the microphone in front of you when talking and ensure you turn your microphone off once you have finished speaking. Another member or officer will not be able to speak if your microphone is still on. Please note the Council's visual equipment may on some occasions focus on or near to the public gallery area. Therefore, those in attendance at this meeting may be filmed or recorded. Attendance at this meeting signifies your agreement to this. If, as a member of the public, you do not wish to be filmed or recorded, please inform a council staff member in attendance and we will try to assist where reasonably possible. On hearing the fire alarm, we ask all attendees to immediately evacuate the building. Please evacuate via the nearest fire exits in the corner and make your way to the community square outside of the main reception doors. I know we've all heard this several times, so anyway, thank you. Right, Chloe, apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chair. No apologies this evening.
Okay, thank you. Right, the next item, the minutes of the previous meeting on the 9th of September. Any questions, any points of clarification? Are we all good? All right, thank you. I'll go ahead and sign those. Item 4, declarations of interest. I don't think we've received any. And then the next item to consider whether any items in Part A of the agenda should be considered in private or those, if any, in Part B in public.
Sorry, that.
Right, no worries. Okay, and that takes us to the, we got some refurb here. To the tourism and heritage update. So let's see.
Thank you. Apologies for the
No worries.
technology interruption.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Liz Reid. I'm the Programme and Partnership Manager for Gravesham Borough Council, and today to give you an update on the tourism and heritage strategy, which is from 2021 to 2026. So just to pull out some of the key objectives from the strategy there around visits and longer stays, strengthening Gravesham's visitor offer, enabling the programme of festivals, but to also appeal beyond the visitors beyond the borough, extend the effectiveness of Gravesham's visitor information point, and strengthen local partnership working. So in terms of day visits and longer stays, we've got a number of tourism assets within the borough. In the last year, we were able to bring the Santa Maria tour ship to the borough, and that brought in 2,000 visitors across the 5 days that it was in Gravesham. We also have the bunker and some of the heritage assets that we have, which are always well attended. And we also have assets such as Cyclo Park, which host both regional and national events and bring in visitors from across the country to come and compete in those. In terms of enabling festivals and cultural activities, obviously on the agenda this evening, Danielle's going to give you an update on all of the festivals and activities that the council has delivered, but there's a number that we've hosted over the last year that are not delivered by us, but have been brought in by others, such as the Estuary Festival and Cement Fields, who have done some guided tours, and feedback from the people that we've spoken to that have attended. There's been a lot of attendance in those from outside of the borough, especially coming down from London for the Cement Fields historic tour that happened back in November. And in order to encourage visitors from further afield to some of our festivals that we deliver, we've been working with Visit South East to be able to promote things like the Light Festival to a wider audience, and also working with South Eastern to promote activities on their trains going up and down the train lines and up at St Pancras. In terms of the visitor information, we have the Gravesham Visit Gravesham website. We also have the Visit Gravesham Facebook and Instagram. We've seen quite a significant increase in the followers over the last couple of months. There's been a 33% increase in the number of followers that we've got on there, and a total of just under 500,000 views for the last couple of months in the lead up to Christmas, which is up 83%. There's currently about 4,000 hits per month on the Visit Gravesham website, and the most popular pages on there are the What's On and the events pages. We're working on looking at how we build the following on the Instagram page, and so the new town centre and tourism manager Graham Long is looking at how we build followers on that kind of platform. So in terms of visitor information and providing information to people both within the borough and outside the borough, the Explore Kent are currently reviewing all of the information that they put out. So we're working with Explore Kent to make sure that that's refreshed and we can put that out to all of our heritage assets, both inside the borough but also outside the borough and across the county and beyond. Both promoting the assets that sit there, but also how people get to the borough. So promoting sustainable transport, so including kind of cycling and the train, and also walking. In terms of the visitor offer, there's a couple of other opportunities for the assets that we've got within the borough to be able to promote themselves. So the Gravesham Grapevine is a new platform primarily on Line, but also on Facebook, which has been working with local twilight economy businesses to help promote the offer that they have, but also encourage them to see if there are offers that they could provide that will encourage greater uptake. So, for example, the Three Doors has been offering a specific menu earlier in the week to encourage footfall into the town centre at times when it would normally be quieter. And also, through the Growing Gravesham grants, smaller businesses or any business actually is able to access a small grant if they've got ideas to be able to enhance the offer that they've got or develop their own business model to better put them in a position to provide services in Gravesham. And then alongside that, kind of fitting in with Explore Kent and some of the other opportunities, this is a new app which Kent, Active Kent, are launching at the end of this month, but will be available for the coming year, which residents can connect to find ways to be more active in the borough, but also assets within the borough can connect to it to better connect with residents and from outside the borough, but also to offer kind of incentives to come and use their facilities. So, for example, Cyclopark are offering specific discounts around their bike hire or in their cafe, and there's the opportunity to look at how we better connect some of the other assets that we've got in the borough to promote that. Experiential tourism is one of the is listed in our strategy in terms of how we better promote the opportunity that there are in Gravesham. Experiential tourism is one of the things like tours of vineyards, kind of looking at breweries and what we have in the borough. So working with Producing Kent, there's an opportunity there to look at how we better market what there is in the borough and how we encourage visitors to access those. And the recent kind of declaration of the National Nature Reserve, which covers some significant areas of the borough, gives a good opportunity to look at how we boost tourism around as a nature destination and attracting different visitors to the area to look at the assets that we have. And then moving on to kind of the heritage element of the strategy around coordinating and interpreting Gravesham heritage and also protecting it for future generations. There's been new interpretation boards that have gone on along the river. So 5 existing ones have been updated, and there's 2 new boards there to better explain the history of the area and the importance of those areas. We've also looked at refreshing the audio guide, which is available. So people are able to do their own guided tour of some of the assets. They're able to do a Riverside Heritage Walk, but also New Tavern Fort and the Chantry. But we've also been working with the temple to look at how we better represent the Pooji statue and look at how we get a Punjabi version of the tour onto the app as well. And we've also been working at a Gravesham Trail and a sort of souvenir guide to be able to connect people to the town centre. So at the moment, that's just being proofread to make sure there's no errors in it before we go to full print on that. And then the final thing in terms of kind of heritage, there was an update, I think, back in, was it the September meeting possibly, that gave you a much more in-depth overview of the National Lottery Heritage Fund around the New Tavern Fort. So an expression of interest was submitted back in September, which has been accepted by National Lottery Heritage Fund. We're currently working on the development phase bid, which we're looking at submitting in May. And that will obviously look at protecting the condition and fabric of the fort, but also in the long term improving access and the sustainability and the opportunity that that provides to bring visitors into the borough. But that's whilst it's a significant bid, it's also a long term programme. For the first phase, we would know by September if that's successful, and that would be for 2 years, and that would then inform a much bigger bid. So in terms of the length of time for that, we're at the very beginning of that. And thank you. That's the end. Shall I?
That's great. Thanks very much, Liz. Helen.
Yeah, thank you for that. Is it possible for you to send the slides to the members of this committee? Because I'm sure we'll all be interested to read them. I mean, speed reading across that it was a bit difficult, but it'd be easier if you could send us the slides. Thank you.
Thanks, Helen. Ectavine.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Liz. Great work that you guys have been doing. I just wanted to ask and comment further about working alongside South Eastern railway services. I know you've mentioned that on essentially the high-speed services, they're doing a lot of work in terms of drawing people in with the Light Festival. Can I ask whether we are, and if we're not, can we ask that it's not just on the high speed services? Because I know that especially when I go into the city, if I'm catching the Elizabeth line, if we're going to hotspot stations like Abbey Wood, a lot of people are coming in and out of that station that are going further than, you know, Gravesend onto Medway. So it might, and they're going further out obviously towards London. So it'd be good if we make sure that it's not just on the high speed services. Thank you.
Go ahead, Virginie.
I'm happy to take that question. So yes, so basically the agreement with Southeastern, it's a free marketing they're offering us, and it doesn't cover only St Pancras. So we've had in the past we've had posters in Abbey Wood, we had it in Bromley, all the neighbouring, Medway. So in all the Kent towns along the line. So it's covered, but it just depends on availability at the time.
Thanks, Virginie. Gary.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much, Liz, for, it's a very comprehensive information. I really appreciate what you've done and so on. And it makes me think that with all the local government reform that we'll be getting in the future, that I really want to ensure that Gravesham maintain its identity. And I think what we are doing here is a step towards that we keep our identity and make sure that all the things that we spoke about, that we keep the future going for the next generation. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary. Any other questions at all? No? I have one quick question for you. Thank you. On the Explore Kent, I saw one of the brochures and it mentioned Visit Gravesend. Do they have brochures for the borough that are broken down, for example, into the villages, the parks, not just the town centre, encompasses the whole borough? Thank you.
I'm not sure if that's something that Explore Kent have, but I can have a look into it and look at how we connect to that.
Thank you. Any other questions at all? No? Thank you very much. There's a lot of work and it's all looking really positive. So just appreciate what you and the team are doing. Thank you. Okay, I think the next item is Danielle's. It's the events programming 2025. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Just bringing up some photos from our events programme. Bear with me a second. Okay, there we go. So our report was on the events programme for 2025. The ones mainly focused in the report focus on the delivery of those by the council's leisure and arts and culture team. Two of them I've brought along with me this evening, Amit, the leisure events officer, and Sam, the sport and recreation officer. I'm sure you can see by looking at the report that it's an extremely varied programme of events, and hopefully there is something in there for everything. We've got a bit of music, culture, physical activity, religious ceremonies, and then topped off at the end of the year by a garage party with the Christmas light switch on. While this report does focus on the events delivered primarily by the council and partners, there's a huge number of community events that also take place over the course of the year. For example, in 2025 alone, there were 29 events delivered by different community organisations, and there were another 4 that started the process of organisation, but for whatever reason ended up being cancelled. So for every single one of these events, the organisers have to submit an event notification, which is a brief outline of the event, when they want to hold it, where they want to hold it, an event management plan, which is a detailed breakdown of every element of the event, from risk assessments, staffing, road management plans, etc., and risk assessments as well. So these documents are uploaded by Amit on a portal called Resilience Direct, and this is shared with not just ourselves, officers in the council, but also multi-agencies, including KCC and the Blue Light Services. For the larger scale events, organisers are invited to attend the Safety Advisory Group. So this is a meeting made up of GBC officers, including the Health and Safety team, Town Centre Management and the Leisure team. KCC Highways attend that, and our Blue Light Services, the police, including the licensing element, the ambulance service and Kent Fire and Rescue. So Amit is here this evening if you want to know more about what we do to support the community if they want to deliver their own events. For this year, we had a few new events added into the calendar. V-Day was held in May to commemorate 80 years since the Victory in Europe Day. The success of this event has meant that we'll be delivering it again this year. It's rebranded and it's going to be under the name of Fort. And again, it will feature historical reenactors, a live music programme, living history camps, and demonstrations, arts and crafts, food and drink, and we work with the Poppy Appeal on this as our partner. Another event new last year was the Maritime Festival, and this featured a weekend of activities around the pier through the pop-up on the pier sessions, which have been mentioned in the report. We had visits from some Thames sailing barges, the Waverley paddle steamer, and we had a live music and entertainment programme within St Andrew's Gardens. There are plans to build this programme up in future years, but in 2026 there won't be an event held due to the refurbishment works going on in St Andrew's Garden. Just a little bit of a note on the Summer Fun programme. As it mentions in the report, one of the main reasons we do this is to tackle the childhood obesity levels in Gravesham, which we know are higher than Kent average, with about 40% of our students ages year 6 that are overweight or obese. And also it gives us a chance to showcase all our wonderful parks and open spaces. It's a really extremely successful programme, and in this year in particular, our coaching sessions, which included basketball, martial arts and tennis, exceeded expectations with numbers, so much so that we had to split the sessions and hire new coaches at the last minute to make sure that we could fit everybody in. We've this year utilised Go Vocal a bit more to advertise the activities within the Summer Fun programme and to gather feedback from the events. Feedback for this programme has been very successful, with the respondents describing the programme as perfect, brilliant and excellent, which of course we will take. And the survey also highlighted the benefit of still producing the physical summer guide, which I hope some of you have seen over the years. So 14,000 copies of this go out to our schools, leisure centres, community hubs. The majority of people that filled in the survey did say that they found out about the event mainly through this guide. And due to the success of the programme and following some of the suggestions made in the Go Vocal survey, there was a desire and a request to have a winter fun programme. We're lucky enough to obtain funding from the UK Shared Prosperity Fund, and the winter fun programme is being delivered across January, February and March. Activities are delivered mainly by partners on this one, including Mepham Leisure Centre, Gravesend Tennis Club, Gravesham Community Leisure Limited, Gravesend Bowling Club and Athena Fitness. We will also be showcasing another winter fun event in St Andrew's Gardens, so we'll be bringing in activities such as crazy golf, boxing and things like that. Weather permitting, that'll be a lovely event. Finally, just moving on to the Christmas light switch on. Obviously, one of the areas that we look at that is driving footfall into town. So while the businesses are somewhat reluctant to give us exact feedback from what they get out of having the event in town, McDonald's are very forthcoming in letting us know. So last year, the Christmas light switch on was their busiest day in 40 years. And when we got the feedback from this year's event, they increased their numbers on last year. So we know that it brings a lot of footfall into town. I'm sure McDonald's aren't the only business that benefit from having it there. But yeah, that is a really good indicator of how much footfall it drives into the town. Just a brief word on some forthcoming events. We only mentioned the ones in January in the report. The General Gordon service will take place on Gordon's Gardens on the 23rd of January. Sadly, it was cancelled last year due to poor weather. But this year, fingers crossed, the weather will be fine, and that will take place in the Gordon Gardens and will be followed by a reception in the warm indoors at Chantry Community Primary School. Another event that isn't mentioned in this programme that we will be participating in is the National COVID-19 Day of Reflection. So we're tying into this programme with delivering a variety of programmes up to the National Day on Sunday the 18th of March. We've asked local schools to provide artwork on the theme of heroes and stories, which will be displayed in the Blake Gallery, alongside a film that we're producing to show how organisations and individuals have bounced back after the effects of COVID. So during COVID, we did do a film with a lot of community organisations to showcase what they were doing, a lot of the food banks and a lot of helplines and things to help people through it. So we're revisiting a lot of the people that appeared in that first film. Finally, the clock tower will be lit yellow on the day, and on the community square, it will be decorated with a giant yellow heart, and we'll be asking members of the community to share their thoughts and reflections by writing on yellow ribbons and then tying them around the railings on the community square. So that's a little overview of the events programme. Any questions?
Thanks, Danielle. That was a very comprehensive overview of the events that I tried to attend most of them, and they all seem very successful and some really good feedback. You mentioned the Maritime Festival. Did you say it's not going to go ahead this year, or it will, but it'll be scaled back because of the St Andrew's Gardens refurb?
No, it's not going to go ahead this year. The reason we like to hold it at St Andrew's Garden is because it ties all elements of the riverfront in, including the pier and the sailings on the river. So the decision was made because we can't incorporate everything together, to postpone it for this year.
No, thank you. And the other question I had was sort of helping to promote the Uber boats. Do we have any update on the service at all? Thank you.
We don't actually have a specific update, but it's something that we can feed back and make a note in the minutes if you'd like that. Yeah.
Thanks. Ectavine.
Thanks, Chair. I was also going to ask about the Uber boats as well, but I also do want to say thank you to your team. It's hard enough to do an event for 20 people and it's your own personal one, but to do it for a whole borough, it's not an easy feat. And my only request, I don't know if we already have something like this, but it'd be really, really helpful if we could just have perhaps every quarter and not a newsletter, but essentially like an A4 document that outlines events and dates that are coming across to councillors, just so that we can ensure that if we can't make it, at least someone else from, our ward is able to make it there. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to pick this up. I think the members' bulletin would be a really good opportunity to share the events programme.
That's a good suggestion. Thanks, Ectavine. Any other questions? Comments? No? Thank you very much, Danielle, and thank again to you and the events team, because I know you work really hard and really long hours to make sure these events are such a success. So well done. Thanks. Okay, that takes us to the community engagement strategy and activities during 2025. We'll be taking that up, please.
So, okay. Hello, I'm Jackie Denton, the Community Engagement Manager. I'm afraid I haven't done a nice flashy presentation. I've got any photos to share with you tonight, but I will just pick out the main points of the report. Basically, it's an update on progress against the Community Engagement Strategy, highlighting the key activities that we've achieved over the past 12 months. And looking at next steps for strengthening resident involvement and partnership working. And I'd appreciate any members' views on what they'd like us to do next. So basically, the engagement strategy sets out the council's commitment to be a listening council, empowering residents and communities, supporting local organisations and building cohesive communities. So this report highlights what we've done to achieve those. We are a small team. We're a small team of 3. Unfortunately, we're a team of 2 at the moment because we lost Kirsty in July. So we're currently recruiting at the moment to that post. So we haven't achieved as much as we would have liked to have achieved this year, but I think we've made some headway into reaching out to residents and getting them much more involved, doing a lot more face-to-face engagement. With the use of Go Vocal, we've done a lot more online surveys. We're continuing the USEB we did in your borough. So, proving to residents that we are actually listening to what they say and we are doing what we can to make changes. Trying to get residents much more involved earlier on so that they don't feel that the decision's already been made. They are actually being involved in discussions and the way forward. So strengthening the voluntary and community sector. So we're doing a lot of work going out around the borough, meeting new groups, trying to engage with them to, we've got, a small group of groups within the town that we know really well. So it's broadening our horizons and getting out a lot further to find out who's out there, what their needs are, what their issues are. So, much more engagement around that. So community events, we're involved in lots of community events. The key achievements this year, although they have been limited, we have been assisting the leisure team with a lot of their events, and we've been trying to going to those events and involving, getting involved in discussions so that we can get feedback, as part of that. So piggybacking onto events that are already running, really, to try and encourage people to sign up to Go Vocal, which is, I don't know if any of you are aware of it, it's a fantastic engagement platform used for sharing information, advertising events. And if you go on there at the moment and look at the events, the leisure team have just put the winter fun events on there, and there are so many, it's incredible, but also using it as an engagement platform. So there's more work to be done on that as well. It can be used as an ideas, we can do lots more stuff engaging the public. we've done. So the community grant funding this year, we've so far have approved 5 community grants, and I think another one came in this week actually. So we've got a small budget of £10,000. We've spent half of that. Some fantastic opportunities and events coming forward. So also the social value side of it is a piece of work that we really need to do a lot more work on. So contractors, if they get a contract through us, they commit to social value, and that could be monetary, giving monetary something towards. A lot of them pay money towards a food bank, which is fantastic, but also there's the non-monetary. Well, there's a monetary value to them. So things like they'll go into schools and talk about employment, help with CVs. They'll go and do projects out in the community, painting, gardening, all sorts. So, a big piece of what we do is finding those opportunities that the community need and matching them with the organisations that want to do social value. So, we haven't got a lot of money as a council to give to communities, but through the social value, it comes to a huge amount of money that they are actually, not in monetary terms, but time given. So if an officer is paid £40 an hour and they come and spend a day, helping us paint a room or something for a community organisation, it's worth a lot of money. So yeah, there's been quite a bit this year. So donations to the food banks, sanctuary, community cupboard. They've marshalled at Park Life events and all sorts. So it's really good work. The volunteering, so staff get involved in volunteering. They get 1 day a year. Again, we're out there looking for opportunities for staff to get involved. It's a great way for staff to network with other members of staff that they don't normally see in their day job, which is always good for everyone. Also doing great work out in the community, from litter picking to helping out at the food bank, which is always really rewarding. Lots of small groups we're finding coming forward now. There's a small one just opened up along the road that provides clothing for families that are in need of clothing for their children. So they've just opened up along the road, and we went to visit a few weeks ago. Piles of clothes everywhere. They've just been given so much stuff, but they need someone to come along and help them present it better and help give it out on the day. So there's all sorts of volunteering opportunities out there, which they really appreciate the support. So challenges, I think, as always, finding the harder to reach groups. Understanding the language barriers and the different ways that people want to engage with us. Managing expectations, what residents want, and they want it now. So we can't always do what they want, but it's managing them expectations. So opportunities going forward, enhancing our partnerships, particularly with local faith networks, which we haven't done so much of recently. As I said, looking further afield at new emerging groups is something that we're really interested in. Strengthening our data sharing and insight-led engagement. So using the real information that we're getting from feedback from some of the, the consultation work that we're doing, looking at the demographic data and actually understanding, what is needed in the borough. Next steps. So hopefully we'll get the new person starting in March, and we'll have some real sort of impetus to get moving out in the borough. So we aim to increase targeted engagement events over the next year, some face-to-face interaction in the town centre and rural areas where residents can just come up to us and have a quick chat. I'm really keen to use Go Vocal, to do some budgetary type of work and quick polls as well, even things like getting people just, not always, changes, but what do you love about the borough? Just getting a real community feel for the borough, because it's easy to get the negatives, but it's a fantastic borough. There's just so much to do here, and just getting people engaged really and trusting the council, and so enhancing our visibility really. yeah, that's it. So, we're a small team. We've got lots of work to do, and I personally would like some money, a bit of money that we can get community groups to kind of vote on. So a small project, doesn't have to be a lot of money, but a small project that people in the borough think would be worthwhile doing, and getting people to vote on it, to choose what they want to do with this small amount of money. I think it gets the community more involved, and feels like we're listening. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Jackie. I just have a couple before I open it up to the other members, but on the challenges, you mentioned engaging digitally. There are quite a few, especially some of our older residents really don't have access to computers, and there may be some of our different communities that really are not au fait with technology. And I think what you mentioned, going along piggybacking with some of the events, I think that might be a good way of addressing that, so that people can come and talk to you and realize that you're there, and if they don't have access to Go Vocal, at least they can talk to you and give their views and give their feedback. So I think it is important that you said that you're going to try and piggyback. I know you're a very small team at the moment, but hopefully you'll get your third member. But I think that's a really good way of addressing those particular challenges of the people without technology. No, thank you. And it's you've got some great ideas there, and there's a lot of work still that needs to be done. So thank you.
Sorry, Chair, I'm just going to pick up a little bit on the piggybacking of events. As Jackie mentioned, the community involvement team do come out with us at a lot of events, and we do recognise that not everyone has access to the internet. So on the day, as well as having a mobile device for people to register to Go Vocal, we also rely on paper and pen and clipboards and flip charts to gather information as well.
No, thanks, Danielle. Actually, there wasn't a criticism. It was just a thought. But I think you can't beat pen and paper sometimes. Go back to the old-fashioned ways of communicating. That's brilliant, though. Thank you. Ectavine. Gary, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. It's fascinating and interesting about when you talk about trying to reach out the hard to reach groups in areas and so on. I hope that they include people in deaf clubs or disabled clubs and so on, because for a number of different reasons, sometimes it's not always up to date, or because if things are heard on the grapevine, we tend to be one of the last people to find out about it. So I think, there's one called 3D Care, which is based at Emmanuel Church down the road. They have a meeting every Friday, every fortnight. And I think that's something you could reach out on, because we are doing it for the community and everyone is part of that. So I think it's important that we can reach out to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're aware that there's lots of people that we haven't had contact with, but it is a case of trying as many different ways as we can to reach out. So it's, and as a community engagement team, we're trying to bring all the council departments together in one place so that we can sort of advise and lead on the community engagement. So we don't try over engage with people, but we try and bring the different departments together to work on something together, but also reaching out in as many different ways as we can. The solution isn't just to put something on Go Vocal and think you're going to reach thousands of people. Registration on Go Vocal has really gone up, but we still need to keep working on that. But also we accept that not everyone can go on Go Vocal, won't get to hear what it is. So it is the face-to-face, the piggybacking on events, going to places where people are. I think I was doing community engagement 10 years ago when we would go to a village hall and expect people to come in, and, people would complain about something, and when you get to the village hall to have a discussion, 2 people come through the door. So, we've learned from that, and it is going out to where people are already, holding activities and events and trying to engage with them that way, and definitely reaching out to many more groups in different ways. And that is something that we're working on. It takes time to build, new groups are springing up all over the place, and groups are closing down as well, due to financial restraints. So it's an ongoing piece of work trying to keep up with everybody and map the borough really to find out, where everybody is. But yeah, we're trying to use as many, ways of engaging as we possibly can.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Jackie. And it is, you're doing a really good job, and I know you've got stretched, resources. So thank you for all the ideas, and thank you for everything you're doing. You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? No? Okay. That now takes us to corporate performance, Q2 2025-2026. Virginie?
Yes, so as you will see, so that is a quarter that is should have been presented obviously in November, but because of the post, we had to postpone. Some of the information will be backdated, but happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Virginie. I'm just looking at the numbers. Yes, I know they're a little bit out of date, but everything looks like it's moving in the right direction, which is really, really good. Thank you.
Yes.
Any questions for anyone? No? Okay, right. No. Thank you. Thanks. I think our next meeting is in March, so we'll probably have more updated figures at that point. So no, this is great. Thank you very much. Okay, that takes us to any other business by reason of special circumstances, the chair of the opinion should be considered as a matter of urgency. I know of none. Exclusion, I'm not going to read this paragraph because I think we're already familiar with it. It's quite lengthy. It takes us to part B, items likely to be considered in private. There are none. So if nobody else has any other comments or questions, the meeting is closed at 8:12. So thank you all for attending. Thank you for the presentations. And again, thank you for the teams for all your hard work. It really is appreciated. And I know it's sort of a struggle with limited resources, but thank you. Okay. And have a lovely evening. You're welcome.